What is up, everyone? Alex here with another champion skin tier list, this time on Thresh, the Chain Warden. Thresh is arguably, on average, the most popular support since his introduction into the game, and looking at his kit, it's easy to see why. His kit has a bunch of overloaded goodies that let you show off your skills. This conveys the feeling that he is an incredibly skill-expressive champion. He has, in my opinion, the most obnoxious hook ability in the game. It has a huge amount of pressure in lane when he just sprints at you past the minions, and of course, your support is behind the tower texting for some reason. I'm not bitter, shut up. He has his very own Save My Idiot button with one of the few abilities in the game capable of affecting your own allies with the Lantern, and a really good CC ability that lets him toss the enemy into your team or peel for your carry with the press of a button. And lastly, he has an ulti that, well, lets the whole enemy team realize that Thresh isn't locked in there with them.
You're locked in here with me!
So, unsurprisingly, Thresh's lore is kinda sick and twisted, and putting it lightly, Thresh is absolutely the definition of a sadistic psychopath. He once worked as a guard to a bunch of crazy, dangerous magical objects and things, and boy, one day, he got a special delivery. A man who would never die, no matter how much you flayed him, or drained his blood, or whatever other twisted thing you can think of. Now, as a complete sicko, Thresh was absolutely delighted, and I imagine that other guy was just absolutely pissed. But sure enough, eventually something known as the Ruination swept over the land, and Thresh was turned into a spooky ghost boy, cursed to wander the land forever. Kind of a bummer to all us millennials out there who crave the sweet release of death on a daily basis, but to him, he gets to torture people forever. He eventually captured Senna using his Master Ball Lantern, and this sent Lucian after him, and being a light type, he was able to defeat Thresh and freed her. Of course, in Thresh's mind, he has the rest of their lives to torture them, and he's certainly in no hurry, so he's good. So with that introduction out of the way, let's get to why we're here with the Thresh skin tier list. He's got a bunch because he's pretty old at this point, and very popular, as I mentioned before. So, in order of release, his skins are Deep Terror, Championship, Blood Moon, SSW, Dark Star, High Noon, Pulsefire, Pulsefire Prestige, FPX, and Spirit Blossom. We're going to jump right into the tier list, and I'll explain each tier as we go along. So, first up in D tier is the SSW Thresh skin. D tier skins are basically worse than the base model of a champion, meaning that I would rather just play without a skin than use skins in D tier. So these championship team skins are usually not really for me to begin with, since I don't really follow competitive league anyway, and the SSW skin line are nowhere near my favorites. I feel like the colors and the model of the skin is just kind of ugly and really take away from Thresh's look. Doesn't really fit him, and it doesn't really do anything to change the effects of his spells, and if they do, they aren't very noticeable in the first place. He does get a new recall, and I generally do like these on the championship skins because the trophy is always cool to see. It is a cheap skin at only 750 RP, but since it's a legacy skin, you can only buy it around the time Worlds is wrapping up, which is never a good thing for a skin. If you really like SSW, then you might like this skin, but otherwise I don't think it's worth getting. Fortunately, that takes us out of D tier and into C tier, which is like middle of the road, average, that kind of thing. Not amazing, but at least on par with the base model and actually can bring some fun stuff to the table. A good skin to start out our C tier is Deep Terror Thresh. The big thing to look at with the skin is definitely the model change, because we get a lobster octopus face makeover that reminds me a lot of Davy Jones from the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. It also gives me some serious HP Lovecraft Eldritch vibes, and Thresh's better skins should have that underlying terror to them. Not all of them do, but some of them should. This skin does give us some bubbly, watery spell effects, which is cool. The skin also gives us a new recall that involves a treasure chest. However, the skin kind of starts this thing with Thresh where his new recalls don't really do a lot when he gets them. We're gonna see that for a while, unfortunately. This skin is the literal definition of middle of the road average for me, since it's a release skin and only costs 975 RP, and because of that, I don't have much more to say about it. That brings us to a surprising entry in C tier with the Pulsefire skin. This is an example of a skin that does give us a bunch of changes, but themes are important, and Pulsefire feels weird with Thresh. This supercharged sci-fi inspired skin line being crammed over this ghost sadist is pretty jarring listening to him talk with this skin. I also have to mention that he's just pretty ugly. The head especially looks weird with this skin. Someone told me once he has a chicken head and I can't unsee it, and now hopefully you can't either. This is one of the few good recall changes. The Pulsefire skin line always has this fun gimmick where the recalls all involve opening a time portal up. Guys, I wish I liked the skin. I really do. I generally like the skin line a lot, but this is probably the weakest entry into said skin line, and it's a painfully average skin that unfortunately costs $13.50 RP and has a few things dragging it down. We'll move on to the B tier now with the prestige version of the Pulsefire skin. So let's talk about B tier now. I typically think B tier skins are pretty good, with maybe a few flaws holding them back from being perfect, or maybe I just think the skin should have had a lot more to it. So let's talk about this golden, gaudy, glitzy ass looking skin. Now, does it still have a lot of the same flaws as the Pulsefire skin? Yes, of course it does. He still has the chicken head. That's the big flaw that comes to mind. Now, I like these prestige skins quite a bit. I've mentioned that in multiple videos. I like earning tokens. I like the events that come with these skins. I like how absolutely indulgently shiny they are. Maybe I'm part crow. I don't really know. This one is pretty weird though, because it's a prestige version of a relatively disappointing skin, which brings it down for me. On the bright side, this lets me look at a lot of the cool effects with a new shiny coat of paint splashed onto it. So it lets me enjoy the good parts of the skin. If it sounds like I'm running out of things to say about this skin, it's because I am, and we sort of went over this skin already. Just think the last skin, but shinier, and also rare, which makes it better, right? Right? Further along in B tier, we have the Championship Thresh skin. These are different than the Championship Team skins like the SSW and the FPX one, which we'll talk about later. The Championship skins are basically kind of a celebration of another year in good old League of Legends, with this one celebrating the start of the 3rd season. Now, this is like a really blue version of Thresh. The model changes? Blue. Spell effects? Blue. You really have to like the color blue with this skin. Luckily for me, I do. Now, similarly to the Championship Team skins, this one is also a legacy one, available in the shop around the same time. This skin also has a chroma, that being the rare golden one, and gold is pretty fitting because I know I had the whole bit about a lot of blue, but a lot of the spell effects have gold in them too, making this pretty fitting. This skin is pretty good overall, nothing groundbreaking. Even the recall is yet another just kind of plain Jane one, but it costs 975 RP, and it was to celebrate Season 3, which was a pretty landmark year for League because I know a ton of people who just stopped playing after Season 3. And I'll hear people reminisce about Season 3 the same way people talk up Ocarina of Time. Guys, trust me, both aren't nearly as good as your nostalgia is making you think they are. So we've had a large collection of Thresh skins that use a heavy emphasis on green or blues, but now there's only one more Mass Effect ending color left, and that's the red one. So here's Thresh's Blood Moon skin to fulfill that obligation. Blood Moon skins generally have these really cool demon masks that make them look way more intimidating, and Thresh's definitely ups the scary game, and he gets this really cool samurai armor, and if you think about it, Thresh is now a samurai ghost demon with the skin, and those are 3 words that just came out of my mouth that I never thought I'd say together, but they're rad, so I'm gonna roll with it. His spell effects and souls take on a dark red shade with some magenta thrown in there for good measure. His ultimate gets these cool lampposts as the points for the box, and he gets these red shimmery walls. I don't really know how to describe the ultimate look. You'll just have to look at it. This is the last skin that we're gonna talk about that costs 975 RP or less, which makes it good on a budget. I just kind of wish the skin gave a bit more. Maybe if it was a 1350 RP cost skin, there would be more to it. Another thing I usually like about the Blood Moon skins is, well, the Blood Moon, which usually plays into their recalls. And once again, this Thresh skin doesn't really have a recall that blows you away. It's just kind of different. That does bring us out of the B tier and into the A tier though. Alright, A tier time. These are the champion's best skins. I have to really nitpick in order to find stuff I don't like about these. And the only difference between my A tier picks and my S tier pick is that whatever I place in S tier is just my own personal favorite. And I fully expect people to disagree with it. Actually, I fully expect everyone to disagree with every single placement on the tier list. But I submitted my opinion in video form to the internet. I knew what I was getting myself into. So let's talk about High Noon Thresh then. It's a 1350 RP cost skin, and I can totally see how it came into this world. So let me paint you a picture. So there's this big company Riot corporate skin meeting thing. Shut up, I know how businesses work, okay? And someone went, hey, you know how Thresh hooks people? What if he did it with a lasso instead? And so that guy was immediately promoted, and so we got this skin. Now, the orange fiery spell effects are really cool and different. Am I saying the soul should have been replaced with horseshoes? No, of course not. I'm not saying that, except for the part where this is sarcasm. I'm totally saying that. I also really love that they probably considered turning Thresh's skull more human-like, but that would have made him look like Ghost Rider, so they went with a cow skull instead. And it's just such a fun idea for a cowboy theme that I don't think anyone else could have pulled it off. The rattly metal sound effects are also different, having a more whip-like noise to them. And look, Thresh has an actual fun recall with him doing the cowboy rope thingy. Look, I don't know. I'm a military brat, not a farm boy. His ulti also has him making a pen with black metal cow skulls on the wooden post, and just all in all, this skin does a lot for Thresh. And it's a pretty great skin. The only thing that I'm not a fan of are the chromas aren't very different. They're all just mostly shades of orange, with the Tanzanite one being the only standout for me. I would have liked some crazy colors personally because orange isn't exactly my favorite color. Next in A tier is the FPX Thresh skin, a 1350 RP cost legacy skin. What does FPX stand for? I don't know, and I don't want to look it up. If I had to guess the P part though, it'd be Phoenix, because if there was a Phoenix Power Ranger, it would look like this skin line. I'm not gonna look, but there's definitely a Phoenix Power Ranger, isn't there? Let's talk about how black, gold, and red is just a cool as hell color scheme. As far as colors go, this skin knocks it completely out of the park. There's also a super rare, limited time exclusive chroma that is super edgy. But I mean, if you're an edgy boy like yours truly, you probably think it looks cool too. Now, if you've been watching my videos for a while, you'll know that I usually do not care that much about the team skins. Hell, I gave SSW a lot of crap earlier. They have to really blow me away in order for me to like them, and the FPX line does that for me. A big, worthwhile reason to get team skins is because the recalls are usually really cool, and I think they're cool because in most cases the player who played the champ in the World Finals gets some kind of say or influence on what the recall looks like. Since Korean teams have kind of sorta had the monopoly on Worlds wins for the better part of the last decade, the recalls a lot of the time have some kind of inspiration from a K-pop group. I have a feeling this one does the same, so after a lengthy period of research that I do not want to admit to, it looks like the recall was based off the opening of the song Energetic by Produce 101 with the whole hands as the piano thing. Seriously, I'm super sorry if any of this is wrong. Finding information was surprisingly difficult. So let's move on to the spell effects before this video gets too unnecessarily lengthy. His hook, when he throws it out, looks like the head of a phoenix, and it looks like it's on fire. And when he activates his Q again, he literally flies towards the target because he gets wings. It's a blink and you miss it kind of thing though. His lantern displays the team's logo when it's thrown out. When he uses his flay ability, the hook gets fiery wings that of course play into the whole Phoenix motif. Are we getting it yet? There's a lot of Phoenix visuals. I think we get it. And as if that wasn't obvious, the skin actually does more with the souls. They become burning feathers, which is actually cooler than the normal shining orbs that they normally are. His ultimate also continues to show the Phoenix visuals with Phoenix heads for the points and Phoenix faces for the walls. So I know I never really mentioned respawn animations, but this one has Thresh start out as a human and then power up like a Power Ranger, and as bizarre as it looks, it's still pretty cool. Oh no, that part of the script looks way longer than other parts. Oh no. I think I'm talked about this one as much as I can, so let's just keep moving forward. Okay, alright, so if you're familiar with Thresh's skins, then you know that we only have two left. And that's the Darkstar and the Spirit Blossom skins. Those are the last two standing, and I love both of these skins a lot. Now, these are both legendary, which means they have a lot packed into them, and they're both 1820 RP. The way I format these videos means only one skin gets the S tier, which all that means is it's my favorite. So, tough choice, and this was a tough one. So here we go. The last entry in A tier is the Darkstar Thresh skin. I fully expect some people to be pissed about this, but it's my video. Stay salty. Also, A tier skins are basically perfect, so calm down. I can hear the keyboard typing right now. Calm yourself. Anyway, Darkstar Thresh. There's a lot to like here about this skin. The model has that incredibly cool, dark, creepy vibe to it, and it comes in blueberry flavor and cherry flavored, but that second one is rare. And this model is just really cool in general, trust me. I mean, his lantern is a black hole for crying out loud. This skin has a new voice and makes him sound even more sinister somehow. The skin also has all new emotes. Spoiler alert, if you like frogs a lot, don't look at his joke, because I don't think that baby Gromp is coming back, you guys. I feel like his recall has Thresh using the Space Stone to create a portal and then just piecing out in it. The souls are still kind of just orbs, but they look different enough for me to be like, oh, look at that, that's different. The Flay and Hook look pretty similar with swirly dark colors for the spell effects, and I already mentioned how the lantern looks like a black hole and it just gets bigger when he throws it out. The ultimate looks very dark and gives me some eldritch horror vibes, like if you look into it, you'll just start falling into space. Don't use the skin when you're high. Not that I would know, of course, I definitely have never had a terrifying experience involving drugs in video games. Yep, definitely not me. Ever. Look guys, I have a special attachment to the Darkstar skin lines due to what my summoner name is for League, and they tend to be among my favorite skins, and although this was a hard decision, I just couldn't justify putting it above Spirit Blossom Thresh, his second legendary skin, and this skin is just absolutely phenomenal. First things first, the skin is a transforming skin, which means after you get 45 souls and ulti for the first time in a game, you become what I'll refer to as human mode, which according to some friends of mine, human Thresh gives them certain urges. And no, I will not go into that further because I didn't want to know, and now I'm uncomfortable. But in-game, you'll be able to switch between the two after the ultimate using Control 5, which is a fun fact I never knew. So I like the Spirit Blossom skins a lot. They're super weeby and give off some anime fireworks festival vibes, and I enjoy that kind of thing, having lived in Japan when I was a kid and, well, also being a weeb, I guess. This skin also comes with a bunch of chromas because that's a big part of Riot's business model now. That's not going away. I personally just like the base one the best, but hey, if you have a favorite color, you'll probably want to get it to further personalize the skin for you. He has a new voice that sounds like silk and makes him come across as some sinister, charismatic villain that makes him sound like he's trying to convince you that genocide against humankind is the answer, and you'll low-key kind of agree with him. I know you will. I see the way you look at him. You can't fool me. He gets new emotes, and honestly, the joke being a Pac-Man reference with his lantern is super awesome, and then the dance giving some chill, lo-fi hip-hop beats to study/relax to vibes is also amazing. And both of these things kind of tip the skin over the top for me over Darkstar. I tend to listen to that stream while I work on these scripts, and so it's just a cool dance overall. Might actually be in my top 5 if I'm being honest. So the model is great, the chromas are cool, the emotes are smooth. What's next? The recall has his lantern draining the life from smaller lanterns like some kind of lantern vampire. The souls are little flowers, another edge over most of the skins. Honestly, the spell effects, while not bad, are probably the least impressive parts of the skin, with his Q and his E just kind of being standard shimmery purple spell effects. His lantern has the little, I'm probably gonna butcher this word, and it might not even be what they are, but the little Ufuda papers swirling around the lantern when he throws it out. His ultimate has little waves on the walls of it, which kind of remind me of that really famous artwork, The Great Wave off Kanagawa, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, which is fair. Here it is on screen. You've definitely seen this before, trust me. There's a lot to like about the skin, and if I was a support main, and more specifically a Thresh main, I don't think I could ever get sick of using this skin. Hey guys, it's me at the end of the video. Look at you, making it to the end. I knew you could do it. So real quick, on screen is just my ranking from favorite to least favorite Thresh skins. This is a little more biased and opinion based, but feel free to agree with me or hate my guts at that list. I'm gonna keep doing my little outro thing like I normally do. These will sometimes contradict the tier list, but the tier list tends to be a little more objective, and this is a little more subjective. Look up the difference on those words. I've been on the internet a long time, and some of you do not know the difference. Do better. I believe in you. So, Elephant in the room, it has been a hot minute since I've made a video, and I am sorry about that. Last couple weeks have been rough, to put it delicately, but I know I'm not alone in that. I decided to try and relax for the last couple weeks of 2020 and then kick it into overdrive as soon as 2021 started. Well, unfortunately, I've been stressed and depressed. The first month and a half of this year has been incredibly whiplashy with both good and bad things for me. The politics of my country are incredibly stressful in a time where the Backstreet Boys reunion tour has been going on for nearly a year. Look up what that means, it's absolutely brilliant. I started dating someone and that's been absolutely amazing. I found out one of my immediate family members is fucking nuts. I laughed as a subreddit made the lives of rich people very difficult, and I had one great amazing Valentine's Day. Like I said, very whiplashy, but I've been feeling hella determined when it comes to taking this channel more serious, so do me a favor. I'm not a big call to action guy, as I usually kind of phone it in during those, but if you've been around for a while or are new here, let me know in the comments what kind of champs and videos you want me to see. Now, I'm not a big call to action guy, as I usually kind of phone it in during that part of the video, but if you've been around for a while or are new here, let me know in the comments. Also, let me know what kind of champs and videos you want me to do. You can comment to agree with my opinions or not. I know my face lights up whenever I log into this account and see those notifications telling me I have new comments to read. I read every single one, guys. They are my absolute favorite part of doing this thing. And lastly, share the video around. Guys, I need that motivation to keep moving forward, and guys, I need that motivation to keep moving forward. Send it to your Discord groups or your Skype groups if you're still using Skype. No judgments here. Anyway, this video feels way too long already based off the length of the script I've written, so I'll just say I've been Alex, and I will see you all in the next one.